Hello, everyone. This is one of a series of lectures on the game of Go for beginners. And today we're going to talk about opening play, which is usually concentrated on the corners. And we're going to be looking at the simplest patterns involved with probably the simplest opening play, which is the 3-3 point. That's this point here that you see Black has played it for the first move. This is a very tight move. It captures the corner pretty solidly. On the other hand, it's not that influential towards the sides and the center of the board. I would say that of the various opening plays, so typically these sort of 4 or 5 moves are the usual ones played. So there's a 3-3 point here, and there's beside it the 3-4 point, another 3-4 point. Those are also popular opening plays. And there's the 4-4 point, which these days is perhaps the most popular. And then there's this point here, the 3-5 point, also over here, which is sometimes seen. Sometimes the 4-5 point is also played. Today we're going to look at the patterns that arise with this play. They're the simplest ones, roughly, and I think you can get a sense of the kinds of thinking that explain opening play. So let's start with White also playing a 3-3 point, and Black also there, and White there. So we're going to look at a lot of patterns with the 3-3 point. So say Black will play here. So this is kind of a standard move that limits this stone's expansion in this direction, but on the other hand, then White is allowed to go out here. So White might reply with a 2-point jump over here, or maybe a little bit more ambitiously like this, sort of hoping to make a nice sort of rounded shape. So if White can play somewhere on the third line, somewhere over here or here or here, then that's kind of enclosing a nice area. Right now it's a little bit open on this side, but that's all right. So White is sort of moving towards the outside. And Black will probably respond, having made this move. Maybe we'll play over here. This is a reasonable move that establishes a high position for Black on this side. Okay, so they could leave it like this, or maybe in this case we'll have White play here, because that's sort of a nice shape, so you can kind of see that White would be happy with having this shape. Okay, it's Black's turn now, and Black is maybe going to approach this cornerstone. So another possible play is a little bit closer, like this one here. This puts a little bit more pressure on White, and White should now jump out towards the side. So White could play here or here or here. Okay, this is a reasonable kind of shape, just a simple base on the side, and Black can then respond. What is Black going to do? So in this case, maybe Black will also retreat and make some kind of position, maybe a little bit of a higher position to match with this low stone here in the corner, which is quite far off. Okay. Now it's White's turn, and White probably wants to play now in here so that Black can't play one more move, creating a nice shape either on the right or the left-hand side. And I think in this case, White very well might play this 4-4 point against the 3-3 point. And this is perhaps the most common response to the 3-3 point. All these other ones are reasonable too. Okay, so at this stage, Black has a choice to make. Black is either going to play this move here, sort of a push, or this move here, a push. It's sort of symmetrical here, okay, as far as the corner is concerned, but it may not be symmetrical with respect to the rest of the board. In fact, it isn't. You can see that the stones are a little bit different. There's not that much different between Black's position here and here, but there's a little bit of a difference. So a professional player would probably have a good sense of whether it's better to play here or here. What would be my inclination? It's probably wrong, but yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, maybe okay. Maybe I'll play here. All right. So White almost invariably plays out here. You might think that White might play here. This is not such a good move because Black will will play something like this, sort of wrapping around white, which is not considered too good. So white wants to stay ahead of black. Okay, so if black keeps marching out here, white will intend to stay ahead of him. So maybe black will actually do that. Maybe black will play here once more, and white can stay out ahead of him. And now black might slide down here. And that, first of all, establishes a big corner territory for black, but it also prevents this white group from making an easy base. So white, of course, ultimately has to have two eyes, and so there would be an issue of where these two eyes are going to be created. And at this stage, it's not crucial, but white has to think about this at all times. How is this group going to have a base? So another possibility for white would be to play here now. So allowing black to go around on this side, but now preventing him from coming out here. This also then isolates these stones a little bit more directly. And so now these two black stones might be potential for attack. So if white, for example, plays here next, then that's putting some kind of pressure on these black stones and will probably limit how big their territory is. So if I'm not saying this is the best move. This looks a little bit heavy for white in my view, but okay, I suppose it's possible. And then maybe black could play out here, sort of again limiting white's potential in this direction, and also making sort of nice shape with respect to this group here. Okay, we better get white to play a little bit more. So maybe white will play here. There's a base now for white, which also looks to slide under here and remove any possibility of, or make it harder for black to have a base here. Okay, so this is one kind of corner play that could happen with the 3-3 point and a 4-4 point on top of it. Let me show you another thing over here. So it's black's turn. Let's have black make some kind of defensive move. Maybe let's play black here, and maybe white will play here, and black will play here, and maybe white will play here. Okay, that's some kind of subdivision of the corner, and maybe black will play here, and white will play here. So now black has loosely made some kind of base at the price of strengthening white. But maybe black is a little bit concerned. There's still a weakness here, so maybe black will jump out. All right. And in this case here, I wouldn't be surprised if white jumped out as well. And then maybe black will try to encircle this side on a big scale. Well, I think black would be pretty happy with that. Okay, so now this white group has, the outlines of a strong shape. This black group is not encircled. It's not going to die immediately. And so we have a bunch of groups on the board, all of whom are relatively secure for now. So the last corner, let's illustrate another possibility with this 4-4 attachment, or 4-4 move against the 3-3 point. Okay, so another thing that could happen is that black could push and white could play out here, and black could immediately play like this. And now white has, again, as before, sort of two possibilities. White could play over here, which in this case would be quite a nice move because it would go well with these stones over here. But another possibility is for white to play a two-space jump out here, looking towards the center and maybe trying to gain some influence in the center. Black does not have to play, but if black wants to play further, he can push along here or maybe slide here. So perhaps, say, black there, sliding there, then that would be a nice secure black territory. And white now doesn't necessarily have to reply, but white could play, say, something like this, which gives a line of communication with this group here, sort of enlarges this territory here, and looks for some potential. Okay, so if later on white is able to play some moves out here to restrict this group, then there's a possibility for quite a bit of white territory here. Okay, so those are some patterns that are seen quite often with this 3-3 point opening. And here's some examples of reasonable shapes that are quite kind of peaceful, but that give you an idea of the kinds of shapes that players aspire to make at the beginning of the game, before the fighting gets serious and starts getting sometimes quite ferocious.